What's up guys, it's your boy Kidamaki. Today we're going to talk about something very important, right? And this is the upcoming fight between Naruto and Sasuke and Jigen, of course. So this fight has already begun in the anime, in a sense, because Jigen has arrived, I suppose. And in the next fight we're gonna see Jigen face off Naruto. It's gonna be a short battle, it's not gonna be anything major before they actually teleport to the dimension to have their face off, right? So before we get to the actual fight in the anime, I just wanted to have, a conversation with you guys. It's not really a conversation because it's a video, right? But I guess you guys can comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And you can also chat with me on Twitter because my Twitter handle will be in the description. What I really wanted to talk about is my expectations, and it's gonna be kind of a spoiler video as well because I'm gonna talk about things that happened in the manga, and it's going to be a spoiler for the upcoming fight. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you guys can click off the video right now. But I'm gonna talk about spoilers and my expectations for changes that I expect in this adaptation, right? Now, if you guys know of me and you guys watch my videos or you follow me on Twitter, you guys know that I'm not the biggest Boruto anime fan, but I am the biggest fan you can find for the manga, right? I love the Boruto manga, but I can also point out issues in the manga as well where a lot of things did not make sense, right? But I enjoy the manga more than I enjoy the anime. But to be honest, when the anime is adapting the manga content, the anime tends to outshine the manga. Not in design though, because that's another issue I want to get on, but in other aspects as it relates to maybe power scaling and storytelling. And one thing I want to point out and really harp on here that I really think they need to nail down in this anime adaptation is the power scaling factor. Right now, I know a lot of Boruto fans believe that Naruto and Sasuke have not been nerfed, but the facts tend to say otherwise, right? If you really watch the original Naruto series, if you really know the true power of Naruto and Sasuke and their strategic capabilities, and you compare that to them in Boruto, you can understand why people will say that they're nerfed, because they are not operating at prime capacity. And if you think about them being in their primes, they're literally maybe 30 to 31, 35, in that age range, so they should technically be in their prime. But if you compare how they were when they were teenagers in the 4th grade Shinobi War to how they are now, you can see that there's a great deficit as it relates to their strategic capabilities and their power output as well. Now, you could attribute that or them being this way to other factors as it relates to them being rusty, which is the typical explanation of everybody who really wants to chime in and say that they're not nerfed, is that they are rusty because they haven't been fighting anybody. But if you really read the novels, you know that that's not true, and they've actually been training. Naruto has begun to get rusty because he has been the Hokage, which is not really an excuse, it's just a plot point to make Naruto weaker. And I say this because as we've seen in the past, becoming a Hokage doesn't make someone weaker, it actually makes them stronger. Not just the title doesn't make them stronger. It's the fact that they have become the Hokage, so they feel the need to get stronger to protect everyone in the village. Now, you could attribute this to the time of peace they were experiencing, so Naruto didn't feel the need to train. That's a whole other thing we need to get into, but I'm gonna say that for another video. But one thing I really want to get into is just how they performed in this battle and the explanations that were given by the fandom, because we haven't really gotten a official explanation for how these characters are performing. We only got, just people speculating as to why, this has happened. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is Naruto's awareness and his sensory abilities or capabilities, right? Now, as seen in the 4th Great Ninja War, when he was fighting Madara, Naruto was able to sense Madara's limbo clones that were on another dimension. So let me repeat. They were on another dimension, okay? So he was fighting beings that he could not see and did not exist in his plane of reality, right? He was fighting them and on par with them, might you add, and defeated multiple of those clones that Madara stated were on his level. So you can say that Naruto is stronger than Jubidara, because if the clones are on Madara's level and Naruto beat them by himself without Sasuke's help, then you could say that Naruto is stronger than Madara at that point. But that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make is that Naruto was able to fight these clones that were on another dimension, but somehow he could not sense Jigen, who was on his plane of reality, who only shrunk to a small size. So Jigen shrinking to a small size, to the size of a pea maybe, Naruto was not able to sense him, but he's able to sense and fight someone on another dimension. Like, it literally makes no sense, and I fail to understand. I can't understand how people can defend this and say that it makes sense. It does not make sense. This is obviously the writers nerfing Naruto to make Jigen stronger, right? And I just want to make this clear before I proceed. I do not believe Naruto and Sasuke are stronger than Jigen, right? I do not believe that. He's obviously stronger than them, but what people have a problem with, and what most Naruto fans have a problem with, and this is why I think the Boruto fandom is being intellectually dishonest when they're arguing these points, is because most Naruto fans, when they argue this point that Naruto and Sasuke shouldn't be demolished, their comeback is that, oh, you think Naruto and Sasuke should always be the strongest person alive, this is Boruto's series, they shouldn't be the strongest characters, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, and the list goes on, right? A bunch of nonsense arguments that Naruto fans were not arguing in the first place, right? If you want to be disingenuous and be intellectually dishonest, then you are going to argue in that way. But if you want to be honest about the situation, then you'd argue the points, right? You'd argue with integrity. So let me put the argument forward. The argument that we are making, right, original Naruto fans who are a fan of the Boruto series, which is why we continue to support it, is that we understand that the next villain should be stronger than the characters. That's how you add tension, and Naruto fans like tension. The lack of tension is why Naruto fans didn't like the Boruto series at first. Now it has tension, Boruto has a lot more viewers. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is true. Now, the argument they're making is that you cannot expect people to actually watch the Naruto series, who understand the abilities of these characters in and out, to look at Boruto and be honest when they say that, okay, this makes sense. When you're trying to justify how weak the characters are and how illogical their decision making skills are, right? And that's the problem. What they're saying is that you can kill the characters, you can beat the characters, you can defeat them, but make it make sense. Like, it's that simple. Make it make sense. That's all we're asking for, I believe. Now, of course, you have the disingenuous Naruto fans who just want Naruto and Sasuke to be the strongest persons or the strongest characters in existence forever. But you actually have smart people who actually understand that, of course, you're gonna have villains that get stronger than them. That's how you increase the tension of the series, and then you have Boruto to take the place. And I'm okay with Naruto and Sasuke being depowered, meaning that I'm okay with Naruto losing Kurama, I'm okay with Sasuke losing the Rinnegan. It adds stake to the series, right? But when you have them losing with these abilities to this degree, by also nerfing them before you remove these abilities, that's when I have a problem, because it makes no sense, right? As I mentioned before, the first thing is Naruto's sensory capabilities. The second thing is Sasuke not knowing how to use the Rinnegan, right? Like, this dude uses 2 abilities out of the Rinnegan, he doesn't use anything else. 1, he teleports, switch places. 2, he transports or teleports between dimensions. I believe they're 2 separate abilities, right? So he only uses 2 abilities out of the immense power the Rinnegan has. This Rinnegan has multiple. If you look at Pain, Nagato separated the pain into 6 paths, and each of the paths had different abilities. And we're not going to talk about the other abilities that the Rinnegan has separate from the 6 paths, and also the additional abilities the Rinnegan has when it's unlocked by a user, which are the abilities that Sasuke are using, which is unique to him. So if you actually look into it, the only abilities that Sasuke is using right now is the abilities that are unique to him. He's not using the default powers of the Rinnegan, right? I can go into detail what they are, but I'm gonna save that for another video and give you guys an explanation of what the Rinnegan is. But if you watch the Naruto series, you know what I'm talking about, right? But what I can say is give you a basic rundown, like, okay, you have the Almighty Push, you have Almighty Pull, you have the ability to absorb chakra. He only used this ability once against Naruto in the Final Valley. He never used it again. Even when he's dying against Shiki, he didn't look to Naruto and say, okay, give me some of your Nine Tails chakra, bro, let me help you in this fight. No, he just stood there like an idiot. Like, it's crazy. Naruto has this immense amount of chakra. Dude, I'm literally sitting over here drained. I have no chakra. Give me some chakra. It's bro. Alright, so let's calm down. Alright, so he has the ability to absorb chakra. He used planetary devastation. We've seen him use that a couple of times. So yeah, he used that one time against Momoshiki. What else is he? He's not using the robotic arms. He's not using the Soul Reaper powers. He's not using a lot of abilities, bro. Like Rene Rebirth. Also, that's just, I'm not saying he should use it, but I'm just telling you the abilities that Renegon has. Sasuke is literally not using anything, bro. Anything. And for a guy that's literally out of chakra in every fight he's in, he sure seems to resent the ability to absorb chakra, which would fix that problem, don't you guys think? So it's really crazy. Sasuke is basically useless in these fights, to be honest, especially in the Naruto and Sasuke versus Ishiki fight. That fight is gonna be great. That's gonna be weeks of content, trust me guys, because it's gonna be crazy on Naruto Twitter, especially for the anime only viewers who actually like these characters. It's crazy, but yeah, that's just what I think about, Sasuke on a whole, especially their, what we love about Naruto and Sasuke is that they have this ability to work together to come up with strategies without actually talking, right? They just look at each other, they understand what they need to do, or they say a quick thing, okay, we're gonna do this, right? They bump fists, they go into this little mindscape and they say, okay, we're gonna do this and do that, and then they just do it. In this fight, they're just like children, just running around, firing random abilities, doing some shits and hoping that it works. No strategy behind it. And the biggest argument I see Boruto fans make is that, okay, they can't use ninjutsu abilities because Jigen has the ability to absorb chakra. I'm like, dude, if that's your argument, you actually have no strategic capability. Your mind is weak. I'm just gonna say it, bro. Like, Naruto and Sasuke is fighting multiple characters with the ability to absorb chakra. Momoshiki, Madara, Kaguya, every single big bad they fought had the ability to absorb chakra. Naruto versus Pain. Guys, just stop. It makes no sense. Your argument makes no sense. Simple strategy would allow them to bypass that ability the same way Sasuke did with Momoshiki and allowed Boruto to use the Rasengan. It's simple. Of course it's gonna be harder, but at least try. They didn't even try. It's like they're saying, okay, he can absorb chakra, let's not try anything, just let's try taijutsu, and if that doesn't work, we're just gonna die here. Like, that's basically the sum of this fight, Naruto versus Jigen. It's crazy how stupid these characters have become and lacking in their strategic capabilities to get around such basic things that they've already fought against in the past. And that's the biggest problem with these characters in the Boruto series. So I'm not gonna put down the anime, right? I for one have faith in the anime, and more faith than the manga, to be honest. And I say this because a lot of these problems stemmed from the manga itself, because if you guys really pay attention to the anime actually fleshes out these fights and make them more palatable to the audience. Like if you look at Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki, right, it is better in the anime, right? They show more abilities, they do more things, and even when they get beat in the end, people can understand why it happened and say, okay, they did what they needed to do, and it makes sense why he came out triumphant in the end, right? The evil guy, right? It makes sense, even in the Naruto versus Delta fight, right? I'm gonna get to that because there's another problem with that, but even in the Naruto versus Delta fight, right? While in the manga they tried to make it clear that, oh, Naruto was just trying, he was just trying to gather data and intel, it looked like Naruto was actually trying based on his panting, the scratches, the cuts and bruises, and him being exhausted. A lot of those things in that manga fight made it seem as if Naruto was actually trying hard. But if you compare that to the anime adaptation, it makes it seem like Naruto wasn't even trying. So when you compare how the anime treats this as opposed to how the manga treats this, you have to look at it and say that this might be an issue with Kodashi, right, and how he illustrates this or writes the manga, right? So I guess that's the problem, maybe. But in the anime they tend to flesh it out a little bit, and I'm expecting that for the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen fight, to see them actually use their abilities more and explain why certain things don't work and why they're gonna get their ass beat, right? And that's okay, guys, it's fine. As I said, it's okay for them to get beat. The problem is how, right? So thirdly, the next thing I want to talk about is animation quality. Now, this is my biggest gripe with the anime, the animation quality, and Boruto fans are extremely disingenuous and intellectually dishonest when discussing this point, and I want to tell you why. Now, I don't know, maybe I should save this for another video, but I'm just going to mention it here. Maybe I'll just make a separate video on it as well. So, the animation quality of the Boruto series, the anime, is standard. It's nothing great. I just want to make that clear. It's standard animation. Okay, it's standard, and that's fine. No one's batting an eye, no one has a problem with it being standard for the most part, because I don't know if you guys know this, but manga readers also watch anime, so we know what it means when people say that, okay, Boruto is an ongoing series, we can't have episode, I think it was 189 and episode 165, the Momoshiki and the Garo fight, we can't have that level of animation in every Boruto episode. I don't think I needed to mention this, but maybe you guys are watching. Okay, Boruto fans, listen to me. No one is saying that you need to have Garo level fight or Momoshiki level fight animation on every Boruto episode. That's impossible, right? It's impossible because it's an ongoing series. No one is asking for this. What people are saying, and I have to break this down, this might sound that I'm being arrogant, but I just have to break it down for you guys so you guys can understand what I'm saying, okay? Listen, it makes no sense. What people are saying, Naruto fans and every other anime fan alike, because not only Naruto fans are saying this, just regular anime viewers in general. When you have important fights, important events, introducing important characters, you should always put your best foot forward. You have fights like Naruto versus Delta, that should be your best foot forward. Fights like Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, Ishiki, Boruto fight with Team 7, put your best foot forward. The introduction of Code, put your best foot forward. Introduction of Jigen that we saw in the last episode, put your best foot forward, right? The anime is an ongoing anime. It has multiple hundreds of episodes, right? When you have a single episode or 3 episodes, when you introduce a couple characters, or you have 2 episode fights like Naruto versus Delta, you should put your best foot forward, because I know if you guys know this, but these fights are what draws in new viewers. I saw, I don't know his name, but this Boruto reviewer, Boruto Twitter account say that Boruto is not gaining new viewers and these fights don't gain new viewers. If you're not already a Boruto viewer, you're not watching these fights. I don't know how stupid you have to be to believe that, but a lot of people get into anime or certain animes because of fight scenes they see on the internet. Okay, so if you want more viewers, when you have important fights, right, especially if you want to get that Naruto fan base into the Boruto series again, which they did with the Naruto versus Momoshiki fight, then they lost those people because they went into the filler arcs. If you want to get them back, you put your best foot forward when you have the next fight, the big fight for Naruto, which is Naruto versus Delta, and the introduction of Delta. You put your best foot forward. Now, the animation quality for Naruto vs Delta, it wasn't trash, but it wasn't the best either, and it could have been way better, right? And that's the problem. And I think Boruto fans or Boruto viewers or Boruto stans, to be honest, are intellectually dishonest when they try to argue against these points, valid points that people are making. No one is hating on the series by saying that, okay, the animation in this fight was not good, because it wasn't good. It wasn't good. You have some steady points in the fight where some of the animation was good, but majority of that fight was lazy. It was lazy animation. It was literally filler animation, if you want to put it that way, because they were literally just punching and kicking repetitively. If you look at it, like they're repeating the fight scenes, like literally repeating them to show you how lazy that fight was. And this is the next big fight for Naruto after the Momoshiki fight. Just think about that, right? Think about it. Of course, we have the Naruto versus Jigen coming up, and you know, we can say that, okay, they're saving it for this fight because they're gonna put a lot of money into this and a lot of resources, so they're just saving all of that for this fight. But be honest. Be honest. Let's agree on that. Let's be honest. That's what they're doing. But be honest. with yourself and be honest with everybody else that the animation in Naruto versus Delta wasn't great. I see a lot of Boruto fans, oh, it was great animation, I don't know why they have a problem, and what did you expect? Like, I literally hate that argument. When people say, oh, this animation could have been way better, people commenting, you have these big Boruto Twitter accounts, what did you expect, man? It's just a studio and it's an ongoing anime. I'm like, dude, man, get the fuck out of here with your bootlicking self, bro. Like, you're literally bootlicking. Like, that's literally what you're doing, licking the boots of these studios. Like, we all understand that, where, you know, animation, people who are doing animators are not being paid well, and they're working in bad conditions and all, but they're still doing the job, right? And if you're paying to consume a media, and you're consuming this and you're supporting this, you have a right to criticize the media you consume. And the more you criticize it, I'm sure the more the studio will try to do better. If listen to this. If you are happy with the content that they're pushing out, and if you're happy with how they treat the workers who are working in these conditions, because a lot of the times it's because of these working conditions why we get these bad animation qualities. So if you're happy with it and you're okay with it and you're okay with them doing this, why do you think the studio will change anything? Now listen and try to reconcile with this in your own mind, right? Why would the studio change everything or change anything at all about how they're operating if the fans are okay with it and defend it? Just think about that the next time you want to, you know, bootlick a studio, right? Because you want to be virtuous or whatever to support animators, right? Just think about that. Why would they change the working conditions? Why would they change anything at all, if it's working for them and you guys are happy with it and you're still supporting them, right? It's just crazy, guys. I don't know how, it's just frustrating seeing these people on Twitter constantly defending bad animation, but what did you expect? The people are tired. Like, how do you expect things to change if you don't say that it needs to be changed? It's just annoying, bro. These kids, and I have to say kids because they must be kids, because they don't understand life, you know, they don't understand anything at all. They just see something and regurgitate it, and when you slap back at them with points and facts, they just disappear. They don't reply, they just disappear, and then just shadow like any tweet that's disputing your point after they disappeared from the conversation after you disputed them using facts. It's crazy, these kids on Twitter, bro. And these Boruto stan accounts who go out there out of their way to you know, bash these OG characters. I see people on Twitter saying, oh, I hope every Boruto fan is here to cry when Naruto and Sasuke get their ass whooped. I'm looking forward to this. I'm like, these are the same people crying about Boruto slander and Naruto fans don't liking their character, and every day they go on Twitter they do the same thing for the Naruto characters. It's just ironic when I see them, and it's like I was going to make a video about the problem with the both communities, because there is an issue with the Naruto fandom where you have idiots, you know, who blindly hate on Boruto characters, but then you have the fandom of Boruto who also blindly hate on Naruto characters, whether they see it as a response to the hate Boruto gets or just they like doing it, you know, because they want to get Naruto tards upset, which I saw someone actually make that point. It's crazy out there, bro. It's crazy. But one thing I want to make clear about the Jigen fight is that Jigen on his own cannot defeat Naruto and Sasuke. Okay, he is stronger, but I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Jigen actually absorbed the 10 Tails chakra before he went to fight Naruto and Sasuke. If he didn't absorb that chakra, he wouldn't have been able to defeat Naruto and Sasuke. I just want to make that clear for any fan out there who thinks that Naruto and Sasuke would have gotten wiped by base Jigen. And I made this point because I saw a prominent Boruto stan account on Twitter who regularly makes baseless takes or claims about the Naruto series, say that Jigen would have defeated Naruto even if he didn't absorb the 10 Tails. I don't know how he knew this, I don't know where he's basing his facts from, but I'm gonna base what I'm saying off facts and what literally was said in the series. Jigen literally went to the 10 Tails, took his chakra because he needed it to go get Kawaki. If he didn't need it to go take Kawaki, why would he take it? And mind you, Jigen didn't expect to see Sasuke there, so he literally took this chakra to go fight Naruto alone. right? So think about that the next time you guys think to say that Jigen on his own, and oh, if Naruto didn't have the Nine Tails help. I'm like, it's so crazy how these people are so blind to their hypocrisy, where they talk about how Naruto had the Nine Tails. If he didn't have the Nine Tails, he would have died, and Boruto is so much better. I'm like, bro, the dude literally has a sentient being sealed in his body, and he's doing the same thing as Naruto. Like, the argument is so stupid. I'm like, these are literally kids. And they made the same argument, oh, Naruto had the Nine Tails, which is why he was keeping up with Jigen. I'm like, nigga, Jigen literally absorbed the chakra of the freaking 10 tails. Like, literally a portion of the power that Naruto has, he has in his body. And it's so crazy, these people and their hypocrisy, man. And I don't know, man, but this fight, it did cause a lot of controversy, and I just wanted to, give my thoughts on it. I'll do a review, possibly on the episode when it comes out. But yeah, this is just gonna go up before, and you guys can let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.